So what is healing? Healing is diving into the depths of your subconscious to create awareness of the programs and conditionings and limiting beliefs that have been steering your life in a direction that you don't want to go in. And in divine healing sessions, we go diving together and I hold your hand and we go in and we create awareness around the things that need bringing to our attention. And it's really joyful, expansive, empowering, and activating work. Because none of us are broken, none of us need fixing. Healing is merely taking off the layers of beliefs and programs that we do not need to carry anymore for our own evolution back to love. And so what I wanted to share today were my top 10 divine healing charts. So in divine healing we work with charts, and I'm not in control of the session and neither are you. We open it up to guidance coming through. I get the guidance, I'm taken somewhere, and then we explore what's come up together. And everything is cleared in layers. And it may be that we really want to work on this really big thing that we've been struggling with our whole lives, but we always have to work in divine order and divine timing. So there may be other things that need to be cleared before we go in there. So my top chart, and I use this on every client, nearly every session, is hidden subconscious ego agendas. And these are little, exactly what it says on the tin, little subconscious ego agendas that bury in and create havoc. And they're hidden, so we don't know that they're there. And an ego agenda might be something like hiding our fears. It could be staying stuck in a family role. It could be anything to do with any kind of behaviour or pattern that does not serve us. And one that comes up a lot is abdicating responsibility. So the ego doesn't want to take on responsibility for its emotions or its physical well-being. So in a hidden subconscious ego agenda, we become very familiar with our ego, and it's a very powerful chart. The second one is the sabotage chart, and these go hand in hand actually. We all self-sabotage because we're not human if we don't. And often we need to get to the core of what that sabotage is, because it hides. It hides in layers, it doesn't want to be found. But it is very potent, like a tiny dose of very powerful poison. It has a really big effect on our life. So we want to find out what the sabotage is. We want to clear it. That's exactly what we do. The third one is dental clearing and balancing. So our teeth are connected to meridians. And the meridians are connected to nadis, and the nadis are energy channels connected to our subtle bodies and our aura. And just like the soles of the feet map in reflexology all the organs of the body, so do the teeth. So each tooth carries a huge amount of programming. And if you have lots of fives in your soul contract, you may carry a lot of programming in your teeth, in your gums in particular. So I had a wisdom toothache last week when I did my divine healing training. It was going all the way down my neck like a piece of glass. I felt really, really uncomfortable for about 3 or 4 days. And I did the dental chart, and the next day that pain had gone completely. And I had to work through an energy around, it was an emotion around discipline. And I had to really go in and explore that and what that meant to me. And we released it, and no more pain. It's not always that easy, but that's how the chart works. The fourth chart, which is incredibly powerful, is the shock and trauma release. So trauma needs to come out very safely. And we all have a lot of trauma, but some people have a lot of trauma. And it gets stuck and locked in the body, and it can be really tiring to hold it there throughout your whole life, holding that trauma, because it's not safe to let it out. It would be like an explosion. So the shock and trauma release is a chart that I use when in a session a big thing has come up and it's really stressful and shocking to the psyche. And that can be a lot of physical movement, of energy shifting, a lot of emotions, a lot of pain and suffering coming to the surface to be acknowledged and heard and felt and seen. But you can also do it right after an accident. When my boyfriend had surgery last summer, I did the shock and trauma release constantly for several hours while he was in very, very deep heart surgery. Because surgery is super, super shocking for the body. You cut all kinds of lines. So yes, we do have a chart for surgery as well. But the shock and trauma is, Okay, the fifth one, which kind of goes with this, is clearing and releasing from the vertebra. So like the sole of the foot is a map of the body, and the teeth are a map of the body, the spine is a map as well. But the spine holds a huge amount of programming, very, very, very deep things that are very painful. And what we do is we find out, if someone has back pain, we narrow it down to that area. But normally, normally there's a lot of clients when this chart comes up, there is back pain. And we find out what the program is being held there, like it is not safe, or anger, or guilt, or helplessness, or powerlessness. And then it goes deeper and deeper. And we do some kind of alchemy. So we let ourselves really feel the program and all the emotions around it, and then we transmute it. It's really beautiful. The sixth one, and I'm gutted I don't get to do this chart very often, is all about undoing addiction programs. And we all have addictions. I mean, I've done this chart myself. Addictions are very, very complex. They are basically a way for us to numb a feeling and to avoid facing up to something, confronting something that's too painful. And the reasons behind our addictions, we have a lovely big list, are really ones that you wouldn't ever think of. When we did the training, I did a practice and I was like, damn, I'm addicted to Netflix, or like binge watching Netflix. I mean, hands up, we're all a little addicted to some things. And the chart went on a whole journey for an hour and we uncovered a real fear of lack. And it was all to do with my work. So I was watching Netflix to avoid feeling how I was struggling in my business. So very, very interesting hooks. We always find lots of hooks in divine healing. A fear hooks into a sabotage, hooks into an ego agenda. And so you have to release these things all in one go to untangle the knot and unhook everything. And then the program, the belief, the limiting, whatever it is, just dissolves. And that's how beautiful this work is. So the seventh one is the birth chart. So in divine healing, we have a chart around death, which is very, very big, and a chart around birth. And these hold all of our beliefs. So the way that we're born impacts our life. And often we come into this incarnation and we make a vow to ourselves. And we're here to recognize and remember it. And it may be a vow not to be seen, not to be heard, to stay small. I remember when I did the practice, my birth thing was I didn't want to leave my mum's womb because it was so safe. And so coming out and being birthed into the world felt really unsafe for me. And none of us can remember our birth, but it's amazing when you go into this chart what pops up for you. Okay, the eighth one, this is a really beautiful chart. It's called Realizing Talents and Gifts, because healing is always very focused on releasing and letting go of the heavy stuff, the traumatic stuff, the suffering, the pain, the stress. But it's also about activating, because we've got to fill the void with something really positive. And realizing our talents and gifts pinpoints to a specific gift that you have. Only you have many, many, many. But it allows you to really feel the energy of it and truly embody and activate it. And when we did the practice, my gift was perseverance. And I was like, yes, God damn it, I do persevere. I'm very persevering. And it was nice to be reminded of that positive energy of my being. Okay, the ninth one is all about opening to health and healing. We stay sick and ill normally for an agenda. So obviously the mind and body are one. When we have physical symptoms, there is always an emotional programming running in the background. But there is also sometimes a secondary gain from being ill. And again, I'll use an example of what came up for me is when I am ill, it allows me to rest. And as someone with chronic 12-3 energy in my soul contract, which is like go, do, be, busy, rush. It's exhausting. I can only rest when I get ill because I don't allow myself to rest. I'm a great one for being like, relax, rest. But do I do it? Something I'm working on because we're not all perfect. So opening to health and healing explores, and there's loads of different things. What is stopping you from being well? What is the programming stopping you from embracing health? Beautiful. And the last one, which is a joy to work with, and I've just discovered it, is called Vast and Unlimited Abundance. Even the title itself is scrumptious because this is all about understanding the beliefs that keep us in scarcity and lack financially. And not just financially, abundance is an abundance of love, an abundance of joy, an abundance of pleasure, an abundance of creative energy, an abundance of, opportunities. But for most people, it's about money. And so what is the thing holding us back from vast and unlimited abundance? And it could be a belief in, a program around, I think mine was, or there's one, money is evil, all these kind of beliefs that get programmed in. So it's a very big chart, and again, it has lots of layers and we go really deep. So I really wanted to share that because I have a load of different things I work with. These are like the chunky big daddies of divine healing for me that come up over and over again, apart from the addiction one, because that'll come. Everything works in waves. I'll put all my links below anyway. If any of these really call to you, then I really welcome you to explore them. And the last one I didn't add in is one I recently learned, which is about shadow energy, embracing your shadow. And if you have karmic sevens in your soul contract, or any seven energy, there can be a great deal of shame around who you are. And the shadow chart helps you to embrace that part of us that we don't love. And I have sevens, which is why I'm sharing this. So I'll leave it as it is. And if you like this video, please do hang around, subscribe. I post videos about emotional healing and soul contracts as much as I can. And until next time, I wish you a very beautiful rest of your day.